want some feedback from y'all on that. I mean, here we've got a citywide sewer system, but there's only pump stations in certain neighborhoods. Should those people pay more? Or should we, well, any way you look at it, they pay more if you hit the developer up front with a fee because of a pump station? Or do you leave it kind of like we have it now, where, you know, the bill's just averaged out? It's a water sewer system, not a water sewer system plus pump stations. Because they, you know, we spent last year, lightning hit one of them, and we had to replace a circuit board, and to get it all cranked up, it was about 12 grand to get it fixed.
On the pump station?
On the pump station, the one down there in Wildflower, because I remember asking Gary, I said, well, my God, how much the pump station cost? I mean, let's just go home, it was the generator. I said, let's just get another generator. Well, the generator was $80,000. So
why do some of these neighborhoods have the pump stations and others don't?
well, it's elevation. They gotta get it up and over Highway 53, and just about anything on the south side of 53 has a pump station somewhere. Cause it's gotta get it up and over 53 to drain to the sewer plant.
So have an increased water bill for those neighborhoods with pump stations?
That's what I'm asking y'all.
Right now, it's averaged out among every customer.
And, you know, I don't know that I've got a problem with that. We've got pump stations in there, and they're making, I mean, these new pump stations that are going in, I mean, they're nice pump stations. So they've already got the cranes, the lifts, I mean, they're somewhat easy to service.
Yeah, I saw the ones, the cranes and the lifts back in, Twin Lakes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would expect that's about as nice a pump stations being built these days, isn't it? They're expensive pump stations, but yet there always is, it's mechanical, so you are gonna have to do maintenance on it somewhere down the line.
Moving parts.
And but there's no doubt that's easier to spread amongst all sewer customers versus just the one in that community. I mean, okay, let's just say a guy's got an area to put 100 homes in a spot that he's gonna need to put one lift station. Well, you start putting that pump station in and then amortizing it over 100 homes, it's a pretty steep bill per house.
For 100 homes, yeah.
Yeah. And then it might kill the deal. It might be, and anybody, people be like, oh, hey, this is just too much.
Spread it out across all of the water customers.
And that's what we do now. That's just something to think about. It's not like you gotta make a decision today, but that's, I actually like it spread amongst everybody.
Well, if you try to go back and try to charge them now for a pump station that's already
Oh, you
installed,
could do that.
you're dead in the water.
Right.
I don't see
I'm
that
curious to
happening.
see how it went, but you said Barrow County did it?
It's front end cost, depends on the size pump station.
I'm curious to see how that what feedback was from
And I think Brownston is about to do it. Brownston is approaching, they're gonna be over 30 pump stations in their system in the next year.
Well, a lot of people don't like them just because of that, but then again, they make unusable property usable to have pump stations. I mean, the Coker development, we wouldn't have it at all if it hadn't been for pump stations, because nothing but gravity flow, you know, to the sewer plant. So here we've got that big development, we're gonna have Publix, we're gonna have all of that because of the pump station. And when I was mayor, you know, people would yell at me, my God, y'all see it on Facebook, it's, the water and sewer rates, my God, they're high. They're high, they're high, they're high. Well, this is why. I mean, it costs money to maintain all this stuff. I mean, and that's the way I look at it, is that it's only high, I mean, it's high equally on everybody to maintain the system.
Water and sewer were so cheap for so long, people just don't understand that you're gonna pay $100 a month for water and
Yeah, but we haven't gone up in water rates in, Jerry, how long?
5 years.
5 years.
We had to do three increases from 13, 14, 15, because we had this amount of customers and this amount of debt.
Jerry's comment right there, you know, $100 a month for water and sewer. What's your cell phone bill? What do you pay Comcast to watch TV?
That's right.
You know, what do you pay for a gallon of gas? I mean, to think that water is something you gotta have to survive off of. Plus it treats your sewage, you go to your kitchen sink and you turn it on, you get water to drink, brush your teeth. And it's right there, just for $50 a month, then it costs you $50 a month to get rid of it. I mean, it's about the cheapest commodity
It's
on the
not even-
planet for
it's not even-
survivability.
It's not even a penny a gallon.
Not a penny a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
I think we should start billing per gallon myself. I've been promoting that for 10 years, right, Butcher?
Yes, sir, you have.
What's this, 1,000 per 1,000 gallon about? Let's just charge per gallon.
yeah,
Fraction of a cent a gallon.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd just be curious to see how, you know, look at other people, see what they did and just check it out. I mean,
Yeah, I'll send you some.
yeah.
I'll
So
send you
even
some
if you had a
trending
cutoff
stuff
date
on
and
that.
say, hey, first of next year, any more developments that need lift stations, then you do your upfront charge.
That's right.
Put it on a, if it's the amount of homes, maybe that's another thing. If
Could
it's
be,
like,
yeah.
if it's 100 homes, and they need the lift station, it may, like you say, kill the
Yeah, the
deal.
higher the capacity, the more money it'd be.
Yes.
That's right. And what I've seen already in Barrow County, you got developer A wants to build here, this and here, we're gonna have to pay this surcharge, let's all get together to build one. We've already, it's almost forces collaboration.
Yeah.
But
We're
you
already
get,
seeing that.
but you get the guy that's okay, ready to build today, and he builds it for his development, maybe he builds a bigger tank, but the standard pump just, then developer B comes on in 5 years, and developer C comes on in another 5 years. You're like, okay, but developer A paid all this money, well, he's gotta, and the city's gonna want developer B, can he kick in his part, well, who's he gonna pay? Is he gonna pay developer A, is he gonna pay the city? I mean, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, if I front all the money up front, but then you wanna come use it, well, I don't want some of your money.
Well, I'd have to put
But
my
the
own.
city's wanting your money too.
Yeah, but I'd have to put my own in.
Yeah.
I didn't want
No,
to.
that's what Jerry said, we'd all use the same one.
I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 developments over on 211, from 124 down to Covered Bridge that are out in Barrow County. And I think they're all, working together to try to get one pump station for the 4 developments. Of course, obviously it'd have to go in the bottom development, everybody would flow to that. But, and I don't know that it'll work, but it's made them all talk.
It's gotta be huge though, yeah.
Pardon?
That's gotta be a big piece of
Yeah.
machinery sitting there.
Well, that pump station over in, the village, I remember it was made really big, the one that Ken Gary put in there, wasn't it like, the well for it was like, wasn't that the one that was supposed to be so enormous, that he got in litigation with the city over?
I think that's right, I think it had a 8-foot wet well.
Okay, I was thinking it was a lot bigger than that.
And speaking of culture in there, you know, now that they're beginning to build out some more, might even do another look at that and see if we can eliminate some pump stations in the long haul. We eliminated a lot at the front end, but there may be some more opportunities there as they're building out to eliminate 1 or 2. So speaking of rates, maybe time to, I'm not saying we go up or down or anything like that. It's time, since we are looking at a loan with, GFA probably in the next 24 months, be good to analyze and update the water and sewer rates and connection fees, those compared to everybody else's. Yours may be fine. Update your cash flow model, we've gotta do that anyway. I think the last cash flow model we did was maybe 2 years ago, right? Maybe, yeah. Prepare for the potential GFA loan, we'll have to do both of those to get to number 3, GFA loan for the wastewater plant expansion. And other capital projects, maybe update your CIP in the coming year. The loan rate for GFA right now, if you went to GFA, and asked for a $12 million loan, your, payments would be $350,000 annually. So, we wanna see on paper that we can afford to do that. Even if we have no more customers, if everything stopped today, we got enough customers and revenue to pay that back. Of course, I wanna know that, you wanna know that, JIPA wants to know that. And then there's the JIPA loan rates on the next sheet, they have very good rates. Now, one thing you might consider, we've got, several cities around your area are what we call water first communities. Winder's one, Routherton one, Jefferson is, Auburn is. Water first, you kind of, I think y'all are good candidates. I think some of the things you're already doing, with your water, sewer, and storm would, make you eligible. We just need to embellish some of the things you're doing and kind of make a case and document things you're already doing. It's kind of like having meetings, we have to take pictures and have a sign-in sheet. We just need to document more of what we are doing. But Water First gets you a, 1% discount on, JIPA loans. So I think that's a good goal for the city. It's a prestigious thing.
I see the little signs they promoted with different towns.
So this 1.86% loan for 30 years, if you were Water First, your loan rate would be 0.86.
Alright, we're gonna work on that next week, Jerry. I've got it on my notes.
That's a major,
It
that's a
is.
big deal.
It is.
Over $2 million.
Yeah, and the, if you're Water First, if you look at that chart, it's kinda interesting. If you're Water First and you want a, clean water loan for 5 years, the interest rate is 0.
Wow. Yeah, we are working on that next week. Clear your schedule.
Yeah. But I think that's a good goal. You know, it'll take a while to get there, but I think it's a very good goal. I think y'all are a very good candidate. Cause you're doing so many things already that, you know, the Water First, program's all about. So the next utility, and it is a utility now, is, your stormwater system. I think we've been, involved in that for 7 years now. I think that's right. Maybe more than that. It came in 14, didn't it? 14. Yeah, that's based on the census and, the fact that, EPA and HUD have decided and concluded that Houston is a, urbanizing area. So that triggered the, MS4. They got y'all into that so many years ago. Fletcher and his group, kind of head that up. Would you like to, kind of talk about our MS4 a little bit and what I think we're doing good, what we got coming up, in the future?
Yeah. So the MS4 system, so MS4 stands for Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, and as Jerry stated, it is a utility that Houston has and has to now monitor and ensure that it is operated properly, just as you would your distribution system and your collection system. There's a lot of systems that do not have to comply with the MS4 requirements. That their collection system is, I mean, there's stormwater collection systems in the ground, and that's pretty much it. There's not really much attention given to it. But because of the requirements that Houston has, you have an actual stormwater management program, which is a plan that's very site-specific to Houston that requires management of your system. One of that process, one of the many processes that is included within that program is to complete inspection, management, map updates, education, program facilitation, as well as annual reporting of your stormwater collection system. It is a 5-year permit that EPD issues for the stormwater collection system, and 20% of the system must be inspected and reported on an annual basis. This, for those of you who may or may not be aware of it, this is the actual annual document that is completed and submitted to EPD every year. So if you've heard or seen some of the processes that are involved in it. It's quite extensive. But this is done every year. And just kind of summarizing some of that, the collection system itself consists of just about 11,000 linear feet of open ditches. So the state considers any open ditch that collects stormwater system, that's part of the collection system. It must be maintained, it must be mapped, and it must be properly monitored to ensure that it's operating properly. A ditch, that's part of it. But as we all are aware, I mean, they're very important. You have a ditch, that's blocked, that flow's gotta go somewhere. And usually it's gonna go in someone's yard or a business, and it's gonna create tremendous problems.
So this is nothing we asked to be in, we were just automatically placed in it because.
Nobody asked to be in this one.
Yeah, we don't volunteer for this
Here we go, once again.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, once again.
Alright.
But in addition to that, you have 13 miles of stormwater drain pipes that are located underneath the ground. Just as you do your water distribution system and your wastewater collection system. And then you have approximately 500 catch basins, so different basins that are constructed in specific areas on roadways or walkways that collect this water from the impervious surface. That water's gotta go somewhere. So it's a very important system, in my opinion. While this process is very tedious and time consuming, it is important. It's extremely important. The number one source of pollution in the United States is stormwater runoff and erosion. It's not solid waste and it's not sanitary waste. It is stormwater erosion. That's what it is. And so while this program can be quite difficult at times, I believe it does serve a very good purpose and protects not only our environment, but it protects private property and public property. So it is needed.
Fletcher, I wanna bring Frederica and Scott up to date on this, cause we got into this last year, and Hoschton was spending about $60,000 a year
Correct, yeah.
on this reporting that we have to do to keep up with all this stuff,
This.
and we were bringing no money in for it. So it was a complete money just out, lost, to do this stuff, to do this reporting. So that's why we adopted last year this MS4 program that we're gonna be sending out bills this year. And it's gonna average about $65, $70 a home. It's based on your square footage of your home over the land. Most subdivision houses all be alike, but we're gonna be sending out bills individually to homeowners, to landowners. Well, it's gonna have it's gotta have does it have to have a structure?
Well,
Impervious surface?
Yeah, so basically it's the square footage of the impervious surface.
And the impervious
Right,
surface
so
really
it's
drives it.
rooftops, rooftops, concrete pavement,
In the
sidewalks.
shed,
Yeah.
anything that blocks the way.
That's right. Anything that collects that water and that cannot be absorbed in the ground, that water is ending up into the city of Houston's stormwater collection system.
This year, we ought to generate $165,000 off of this MS4. So now we'll have enough money to pay for this. Plus, if we got stormwater issues, we got a fund to go to, say, here's the money to go repair this ditch and this pipe. Kinda like what's been going on down there at Deer Creek Farms, We can talk about that in detail, but that is where money like that would be spent.
That's right.
And if you'll notice on the, agenda that y'all already had for April, the program that we're gonna have to use to collect that money is on there. So,
The biggest thing you'll see in probably the next decade is, having to replace the old corrugated metal pipes that were put in 30, 40 years ago.
And that's the one I was telling y'all about that we're gonna have to do on the sewer road. I was telling y'all about.
And that's very important because the $60,000 that you pay just to implement this program and submit the annual reporting, that's just a portion of it, because the result of this shows all the defects and the deficiencies that the city has to, they have to fix. And a lot of that was put in by, various methods over the previous years, and as Jerry was pointing out, this corrugated metal pipe that's eroded, it's gonna have to be replaced. That's all gonna come out in this report, and then EPD's got that documented, and they're gonna hold your feet to the fire to ensure that it's done.
The good thing is as we grow, you know, we're gonna permit 500 houses this year. That'll be another $30,000, so to speak.
Impact fees?
And no, in MS4 fees.
Separate, totally separate,
Yeah, it's totally separate.
So you'll be getting.
So we're generating more and more money every year
Right,
to take
so-
care of some of this.
So our citizens, what we're thinking is our citizens are gonna get that utility bill, once a year. So like Shannon said, it'll be about $250 or so bucks.
Are streams, active streams, subject to this? That's what I
No.
figured. We've
No.
got areas in the city, well, obviously, the last few years, we've had some major rain events, unprecedented, practically, we had two 500-year events last summer in
Right.
1 week.
Yeah.
And that's put a lot of pressure on all of the system. We've got homeowners downstream that say it's all on building, which we know that's not, it's got nothing to do with it whatsoever. Actually, the building sites are containing the water better than ever these days. We know that.
Correct.
But the impact, every time we get a heavy rain, we get phone calls because of what's happening downstream.
Sure.
We're addressing it, but, you know, we have two areas I know of. One's very close to me because it's right on our property, where we have open ditch drainage. As you say, it only gets water when it rains, but there's so much water coming and it's dumping into active stream, and it's literally, we're losing at least 2 feet of our banks every time we get a heavy rain. And it is just, like you're talking about, all that silt that's being created by all of this erosion, and it's adding to these problems downstream, but we can't go into those active streams and do anything. And we've got a few homeowners that they don't wanna understand that. We try to explain to them, we're doing all we can, we're keeping you guys informed, but, that's a tough one.
It is.
Well, there is an avenue though, but it's a long avenue, correct, to go through state to get to the point of fixing these stream areas.
Yes, sir.
Just a long process.
That is right.
But we're informing our citizens correctly, but they still don't wanna understand.
Yeah, that's the difficult part.
Well, if we've got a pipe through a creek with a road over it, we think it needs to be a bigger pipe. It's not that we can just go in there and dig out the road, dig out the pipe, put a new one in there, it's bigger.
No.
I mean, that's probably a 6-month planning and permitting process,
Oh, yeah, it's at least.
at
And then a
least.
big dollar item, a big ticket on top of it.
That's correct.
And then if you do increase a pipe, in that very example there, you gotta be careful with the impact it's gonna have between there and the receiving stream. If you're impacting and making it worse on that property owner, then you gotta address all that to the stream.
Maybe releasing too much water
That's right.
by increasing the size of the pipe.
That's exactly right.
That's not always the case.
Right, because then sometimes you actually have to back up and put a larger detention pond in that stores that water and releases it over a longer period of time, so the velocity of water is less.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize with most of the development now, they have to do the retention.
That's correct.
To prevent problems like we're faced with.
That's right.
That does the slow release.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yep.
So it's an ongoing process. This is the 2022 is the final year. It's the 5th year in this current permitting process. So this year we will be wrapping up the final year of the permit. All 5 years of the annual reports will be consolidated into one that will be submitted to EPD. And then any revisions or additions to the city's permit would be issued in 2023. Depending on what EPD wants to include in that. Some of that will be dependent upon the process and the progress of the annual reporting and how the Hoschton system is being improved. For instance, when we first started this, the total miles of storm drain was less than 10 miles, and now we're at 13. We had less than 400 catch basins, and now we're at 500. So it just continues to grow, and that's part of this process is keeping up with all the additional stormwater infrastructure that's being in place, ensuring that it's mapped, that it's digitized, and that it is kept up to date. There are other areas and things that must be continued to monitor, and we're keeping up with that. There's a plethora of items throughout the annual report that must be adhered to.
And they won't issue a permit till these things are fixed.
That's correct, yeah.
But it's a general permit that covers most cities your size, right?
That's correct.
It's a general permit, it's not, you're under that general permit, under the umbrella that everybody else is, and then that permit will be reissued sometime this year, a draft form for public comment, be reissued for the new year, starting next year. Do we anticipate any new requirements?
Haven't heard any yet. So for instance, one of them, the new requirements that Jared's just referring to, the last permit cycle, they came out with the GILID program, which was green infrastructure and low impact development. That was not in the first permit, or the previous permit 5 years ago. So that was new in addition to this last one, which required the city to pass ordinance, if you guys remember that, and then implementation into the plan. But like Jerry said, while it does specifically affect Hoschton, it affects all of those other municipalities that are in this program, but it's based off of criteria that they see would need to be followed for all the different utilities. So as of right now, I've not heard of anything extensive that might affect Hoschton, but I would not be surprised if something new comes along.
Y'all think somebody actually reads that every year?
I wonder too, because we haven't received comments on the 2020 yet, have we?
That's right. I will say in the beginning, yes, they were
Very much so.
they were all over it. But the last two, yeah, we haven't even gotten comments back. So I don't know. They're so understaffed at EPD right now and disorganized. I'm not sure. They will at some point in time. But Hoschton is up to date on all the requirements.
Good.
It is moving forward properly. We are addressing those items that need to be addressed, and it's moving forward. I don't perceive any potential issues with the final annual report for this current permit cycle, and don't. While probably there is going to be some addition, don't anticipate any major additions that would affect the city.
And this permit's good for
5 years. It's a 5-year permit cycle. And 20% of the entire system each year has to be inspected, and that's included in the annual report. Everything.
And we've already finished our stuff for the year, for last year.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I said we've already finished our stuff.
Right.
For last year.
That is correct. And so we just have this last year to do, and then we're good to go.
Start all over again.
Yeah, and then start all over again.
We need digital as-built on stormwater as well, where you don't have to pay anybody to map that, so it can go right into your system. So, let's look
Can I
at
ask you a
that.
question?
Okay, sure.
What, you know, next to the Hoschton Park, next to the depot, that corner right there where the park is, it is, the drainage there is horrible. Is there something we can do?
Maybe. So you
And
got
we
the parking
always
lot
get
and then,
complaints about, mosquitoes
And
and
that
stuff.
corner closest to the gas station?
No, go right at the park. Where Georgia Kids Academy is, the park,
the playground.
Over there.
right there, and
Oh, the
it's,
playground.
yes, and we get complaints, because you know, the kids are over there playing.
Sure, sure.
And we get complaints a lot about mosquitoes, and, it just isn't, it doesn't drain very well. And they do, Brett does take stuff down there to try to help it, but it's been like that since I've been employed.
Yeah, it's low. slow right
You don't know
there.
what I'm talking about?
Used to be some landscaping timber.
I'm just thinking that there's enough slope away from that, it shouldn't be too hard to
French drain in there.
change the elevation there to get water out.
It needs something, I didn't know if Brett has reached out to look at that,
No,
or,
we will.
But it is-
William likes that place too.
yeah. City pool. Community pool.
Yeah.
We don't charge extra for that.
Oh, but we turn that into one right there.
So we had some action items, continue facilitation requirements for the MS4. There's a couple sheets over there. Expand public information and involvement. I think the public's pretty well, everybody pretty well knows this fee's coming, right? It's been talked enough. And I think y'all did something on the website we did a couple of years ago, let them know what we were doing and that fee was coming.
Yes.
Yeah, but when they get it, we know, we didn't know anything about this. When did y'all talk about this?
And we do put,
Yeah.
every so often we put things about the MS4 to educate them as we
Right.
are required to do.
Right.
So I don't think MS4, saying MS4 is, foreign to them, to our citizens.
I bet Gary had it in his report multiple times last year.
Yeah,
I'm
probably
sure it
does.
is. Yeah.
It was a daily number, I mean.
Are we putting a note in their water bill or whatever we can send them?
As soon, I've been talking to the utility department, about some of the things that we're, hitting, and I will say, maybe we can put something in there next month. Cause I think what we're gonna try to do is actually send the bill out in August or September.
June, July, August.
And all y'all need to know too, our original goal was to have the tax assessor put this MS4 on the tax bill. All y'all are familiar with that?
They won't do it.
And Jackson County said no. And I'm not gonna say Jackson County, the chief assessor for the, tax department over there said, we don't have time, we don't have manpower, we can't do it.
Gwinnett County did it.
And that really irks me again for the taxes that we all pay to Jackson County. They've got the software, it just seems like it'd be simpler for them to have done it. And, most people, the majority of people, the mortgage companies pay their tax bills anyhow.
That's right.
And it would've just been seamless. And now we're gonna have to do it all on our own, which is gonna cost more. And Jackson County is, I don't know who else from Jackson County is stuck under this, but they could have done it for everybody.
Right. Well, actually, the western portion of Jackson County has to comply with MS4. Their portions of Jackson County are MS4.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're charging a tax, it would be nothing for them, but I know Barrow County collects it for the city of Winder and the city of Auburn on the tax bill.
See that?
Gwinnett County does it.
So again, this is where we gotta keep talking to these commissioners.
Well, on the, West Jackson Fire District, don't they charge, isn't that how you pay it? Through your
We
tax
pay-
bill?
Pay them completely separate.
Yeah, through your tax bill.
Same thing for the school system.
There you go.
They do it for the school system, they do it for the fire department, they won't do it for us.
It's worth another conversation with them. Sit down with them again.
You think it has anything to do with the, service delivery going on?
Quite possibly. But I don't know. It's worth a meeting.
Even if they get a surcharge off it. And you pay them a percentage, whatever the fee might be, you just pay them to do it.
Absolutely. Plus, that helps ensure you get paid too, because you don't have any hooks in it.
That's right.
You don't have any real recourse except a lawsuit, you don't wanna do that.
You got $79. We should go talk to him. It wouldn't hurt to go talk to him.
And have the new candidates come too. Not necessarily at that meeting, but pick their brains on it and several other things.
We can set that up.
With Bingham and, Butcher.
Now, we got on here also, this has been on here a while, and I don't know how relevant this is now, it's like, I know just like, we talked about in the older sections of the community, do we need to look at that anytime in the near term, some of those issues? Maybe put that in the overall plan to, I mean, the new sections are gonna be addressed, they got new stormwater stuff, they got detention within some of our older sections. Especially if we start getting more and more infill development, that's gonna create more.
That area behind Tracy's house is a bad spot, it's most of that water coming off Highway 53. It needs something all over it.
Where it crosses or goes down Industrial Boulevard, where we've got the two pipes that go under White Street right beside the pump station.
Right.
All of that that falls into MS4, because that is only stormwater,
That's right.
only during rain.
Right.
On the upper end, it's the same way, but where it dumps in the amount of water coming down it, there's no protection whatsoever. And it's dropping off about 16 feet. So, I mean, when you've got 16 feet of waterfall, the ditch is 36, 40 to 40 inches wide, and it's overflowing with so much water before it even drops there.
Well, and this is, that's up that 7 acres that we bought last year for the parkland. I guess we get in there and do something with that, we can make a pretty good sized detention pond there to catch all of that and control all of that.
That's all gonna have to be done to develop that park.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember when they were developing that land, right up from you on 53, we had all those issues in reviewing that, they had so much they were trying to cram on one side. Had a real hard time getting detention there, and then we had the DOT drainage ditch coming in there and drainage pipe, that's a real issue. So perhaps whenever those development plans start evolving again, whoever's gonna develop that, we need to look at all that again, and also look at that downstream, what we're gonna do to address that. Cause that would just make things worse.
Right.
Potentially. Digital as constructed records, very important as well on stormwater, where you don't have to pay us to go map something. I think we're getting in pretty good shape on that, aren't we? Slowly. Yeah. Anything else you think of on stormwater? Anything at all?
Feels like we've been trying to get this done for a long time. Stormwater.
Yeah, it's finally, we started talking about it 2 years ago.
We're there now.
And we're finally gonna get money by the end of the year. We were just bleeding.
Yeah.
I mean,
Robbing the water.
yeah, we were just bleeding. My goodness,
Yeah.
we gotta quit losing money.
Cause you got direct cost, but you also got staff time involved in there too. It adds up too. It takes away from water and sewer, it's gotta take it away from somewhere. So that's real money as well.
Well, and they went and then rebuilt that crossing down there at Deer Creek Farms.
Yeah.
About 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that about $150,000 that was
Yes,
spent
sir,
there?
yes, sir.
First, yeah, I think it was.
$56,000 something to, and they didn't finish it.
Yeah, I mean, but this is what MS4 would pay for.
That's right, exactly. And the good news is we're not really getting any more of that, corrugated metal pipe, you got all these heavy duty plastics that'll last forever now. Plus your reinforced concrete pipe, in your drainage system.
Jerry, I got a question, and I don't know if it's something you can answer or just kind of give us some feedback on.
Okay.
I had a developer come in and they're in our service, they're annexed into the city, they're in our service delivery area, but they wanted to do the sewer over to Brazelton and we keep the water. Should have been some type of fee that we should have charged as a city to let them come into our city limits or to our service development area to do the sewer from us, and we not get anything from that tap fee or anything?
I don't know, that's up for discussion for sure. I guess there's a couple of ways to look at that.
As more and more properties come in close to us, they might wanna go to Jackson County for sewer, stay with us on water.
Jackson County Sewer is a long ways away.
Well, or Jackson County water, vice versa. Either way, the city loses on either one, right?
Yeah, I guess another way to look at it, that's wastewater capacity you don't have to come up with, Chris.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, you're not filling up your sewer plant, but by the same token, you're not making any money off, you're not making any money off.
Yeah, that's true. You don't make much on sewer, your water is your moneymaker.
Alright, so vice versa, if they would say, hey, we want you to take care of the sewer, we want to take over the water.
Bad deal.
We'll never get
Yeah,
water.
I'd want a surcharge.
Yeah.
For water, I think for sure, you would work out some kind of deal where, okay, we're gonna get, if it's $5 a month, add a 10% fee to it. It's kickback to us. Something like
Biggest
that.
gold rule is you don't give away water.
Yeah, you don't give away water.
Well, I think sewer's just,
Well,
you got to pay to treat it.
Well, that's, you talking about that man, in the townhome?
Yeah.
I think that's just simple because it's gravity flow and you don't have to put a.
Well, it's straight to Braston, that's correct.
Yeah.
We don't have to
But it's
put,
in our city
we wouldn't
limits.
have to pump that over 53.
yeah, yeah.
There's gonna be a deal.
I don't know, we came out better on that, with us not having full of that.
Yeah.
On
Well,
that
it's
one.
the
I don't know that we lost anything there.
I think it's just, I guess, case by case then.
Yes, I
It
think
is,
it is.
you have, Jefferson and Jackson County, of course, Jackson County Water and Sewer Authority has more sewer around Jefferson, but they have like an intergovernmental agreement, whereas they have an intergovernmental agreement that either party can serve water or sewer, and they work out subdivision by subdivision, what makes more sense, like in your case, made more sense to drive it to Bridleton, so Bridleton agrees to, collect your sewer bill on their water bill and cut you a check every month.
Right.
In Jefferson, Jackson County, they have about 6 subdivisions that can go either way. Jefferson may provide the water, and the county's doing the sewer, and whoever has the water bills it, collects the sewer bill, whatever their rate is, cuts them a check.
That's it.
I know in Bridleton, they had, some sewer customers that were on the Hall County water system. And, they didn't provide the water, and Hall County wouldn't do the billing for them. So the guys had to go out there and read the Hall County meter and then give people the bills, and there was no incentive to pay the sewer bill, because you couldn't cut the water off. They finally worked that out with the intergovernmental agreement,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
but it was a pain.
Very informative.
Sent y'all that
It's a big puzzle.
Barrow County, did you get that?
Yes.
The different horsepowers of the engine, right? Dictated the fee to the developer. It was 100 and up, it was $260,000.
On the pump station.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Hall County do the billing on their own water?
For what they're doing.
On their sewer? So they weren't gonna do the sewer.
There's billing for the water, because it's there.
They wouldn't build Bridleton sewer. It was part of the SDS issues when they had they were mad at each other.
So, Jerry, go back to our water tank, the logos and stuff. I mean, and, you know, I don't know how far done they are, but we probably wanna get with them and find out what it's gonna cost to fix these logos. We kind of agreed today
That
that,
it was gonna be free.
and
That it was gonna be free.
Free change order.
I don't want that
but
paid.
we really just want Hoschton written in big black bold letters. And with an American flag beside it.
Something.
In Jacksco, next to the pop.
Yeah.
And we can write this out for you, but it's,
And you think something a little bolder.
when you're up there on 85 on 211, at 211, getting on the interstate, coming towards Brass, right there at the top of the hill, to the Chateau.
Okay.
When you get on the interstate there, coming towards Barrow, you can see that water tank stuck up there. And I want it to read Hoschton. So you can spot that tank and read Hoschton on it on 85. Now, I don't care if we're right up underneath it where you read City of or see the flag or anything else. But even the logo they get on that, I mean, there is so much real estate on that tank. They have used really a small percentage of it. I mean, we got a chance here to like be known.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see Hoschton over Brazelton.
What's our contract, Jerry, what's our contract for that change like that? Is this something we have to pay for, or?
You would, cause you already approved what you know, from the get-go, you approved the tank colors and the logo and that sort of thing.
How much
And
is
it's
it cost?
crooked.
Yeah, they did the alignment, we kinda had. that was-
He knew it was gonna be twisted.
The logo for the school, they got it spun around, facing back over there towards like Brighton Park, where it's not
Yeah,
even
that's what I'm
facing the
saying,
school.
it's
It
crooked.
should have been,
It was poorly done.
what,
You haven't seen it yet though, right?
pardon?
You haven't seen it.
No,
So, yeah, so you'll need to go by and see, give your intake on that. We got a lot to do next week, Jerry. I got a list for you already.
I'll be at home, my wife's having back surgery, so I'll be working from the Winder office, so I'll be close by.
Okay.
This was just did a poor job, it was just low
Yeah.
quality,
It doesn't look good.
tank's supposed to be two different colors,
I can't tell the difference in the gray and the white
Really?
at all.
Supposed to be one color or two?
Yeah, it looks all white.
Really?
the whole thing was white, I didn't think it had gray on it.
I can't tell the
I thought it was just a primer coat that they put on.
you really just need to go
And
see
then
it,
they,
it's not
then they,
looked
then when they started painting the logos, I'm like, oh my goodness, they think that's done.
good.
Oh, we're almost done. That's it, are we done?
We gotta make sure that it's gotta do it, sure.
That's right.
Alright, it's Caldwell.
Anybody have anything else? Good? Alright. It is 4:34, I would make a motion to adjourn, can I get a second? All in favor? All opposed?
Perfect. See? So once again, we need.
Thank you, Jerry.
We need
Fletcher.
about, we need about $20 million to get everything done, don't we?
Thank y'all.
We need 20 million.
We got,
See y'all at dinner.
we